It's a beautiful day for baseball, and live from Camelback Ranch in Glendale, Arizona, it's the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Chicago White Sox as the Dodgers get ready to play their 24th game of the spring. For the White Sox, it is their 23rd. The Dodgers enter play today, record of 11-8-4 so far this month of March. The White Sox are 10 up and 12 down. Dodgers beaten by the Brewers yesterday 7-1 in spite of a terrific pitching performance by Clayton Kershaw. This afternoon, Chad Billingsley faces John Danks. Charlie Steiner, Rick Monday, we welcome you to Arizona.
Well, for Chad Billingsley, I mean, the big thing for Chad, as we have seen now in his career, in a season last year that he fought against himself. It's throwing strikes, and ordinarily you would think, well, if he throws strikes, he can move in some other pitches. And falling behind in so many counts, he really didn't have the chance to use a slider that's been much improved last year, Charlie, and also the curveball. And the curveball is a knee buckler in particular to right-handed batters, but you can argue if you're going 3-0 and 3-1, the curveball is not going to be as dominant as far as a weapon.
Billingsley making his 5th start of the spring. John Danks for the White Sox makes his 4th start. We're going to take a break, come back with the lineups. First pitch, Dodgers and White Sox are coming up next. And the White Sox, who share Camelback Ranch Glendale, get ready to play this final Monday in Arizona before it all begins. A week from today, the Dodgers and the Angels will be in Anaheim Tuesday night, next Wednesday afternoon at Dodger Stadium. And a week from Thursday, the Dodgers open against the Padres at Petco Park in San Diego. And now the Dodgers are about ready to take the field. Umpires today, rookie Ben May is going to be calling balls and strikes. The veteran Mike DeBuro at first base, Scott Barry at second, and Jordan Baker is at third. And so is Chad Billingsley. He's about ready to throw his first warm-up tosses. Here's the starting lineup that he'll be facing. For the White Sox, the center fielder Alejandro Diaz will be followed by Brent Morrell at third base. Alex Rios in right field batting third. Paul Konerko at first base in the cleanup spot. Adam Dunn, coming off that dreadful season last year, having a solid spring this year, bats fifth as a designated hitter. Alexei Ramirez at shortstop's going to be hitting sixth, to be followed by Tyler Flowers behind the plate. A.J. Brzezinski with his Monday afternoon off. Diane Viciedo is the left fielder batting eighth, and Gordon Beckham at second base batting ninth.
And for the White Sox, for the first time in his 12-year, tenure as the general manager of the Chicago White Sox, we heard Ken Williams utter that dreaded R word, that being rebuilding in Major League Baseball. So for the Sox, they have some things to prove to themselves. And for Chad Billingsley, out of Defiance, Ohio, it's pitch count, it's effectiveness, and get ahead early in the count. And we have seen, Charlie, little scratches here and there that Chad Billingsley is finally buying into the program, that he has better stuff than the record that he carries into the season.
Defensively for the Dodgers, playing behind him this afternoon, Uribe and Gordon on the left side of the infield. Jerry Hairston inserted into the lineup only about a half hour ago. Mark Ellis under the weather, and so Hairston starts at second base. Juan Rivera is at first with the lefty John Danks starting this afternoon. Jerry Sands in left, Matt Kemp in center, Andre Ethier in right. Matt Trainer, who will be the understudy to A.J. Ellis this year, is catching as we are ready to play. Here comes the first pitch from the 27-year-old right-hander Chad Billingsley. It's a fastball up and in, 1 ball and no strikes. Diaza this spring is 12 for 43, no home runs and 4 runs batted in. Juan Uribe inside the cutout at third, and Diaza swings and lines one past a diving Uribe into left field for a base hit.
Mentioned that R word, rebuilding the Chicago White Sox, and finishing last year, distant 16 games behind the Detroit Tigers in that Central Division. This is a ball club that has kind of sprinkled themselves, but for General Manager Ken Williams, the other part too, coming to spring training, and no Ozzie Guillen, is now Robin Ventura at the helm.
Well, the 44-year-old Robin Ventura in his first season as a manager at any level. Brent Morrell takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Morrell is 12 for 39 this spring, couple of RBIs and a couple of doubles. Alex Rios on deck. Morrell from up north in Bakersfield. And one of the things, of course, throughout his 7-year big league career, Billingsley pitch count is always the story. A ball under the D's, and it's 1-1.
They have worked with him mechanically, and you get a look at Robin Ventura, who really has no managerial experience. In fact, for Ventura, he was in the White Sox front office, a special advisor to the director of player development, that being Buddy Bell. So a lot of baseball being talked on a daily basis just in that office.
2 pretty fair third basemen in their day. Buddy Bell and Robin Ventura, a fastball inside. 2 balls and 1 strike.
I mentioned the mechanics of Chad Billingsley, and the reason is that because there are times that he looks like he's out of sync. In other words, the top half of the body is not really in sync with the lower half, and does he get the drive? Something the Dodger pitching coach Rick Honeycutt has addressed over the last couple of weeks. Mechanically, Chad Billingsley here in spring training, they believe, is on a higher level than he was last year.
Golf to center field, and it's going to be tracked down by Matt Kemp. One of the things we want to keep an eye on in Billingsley with his mechanics is the front foot, the left foot. When he kicks open, that's when his arm flies open and he gets all out of sync. You watch his front foot go straight ahead toward home plate, and that's what they're trying to do with Bills.
There are some that believe that Chad Billingsley dug himself into a hole last year more than just occasionally by throwing a slider once he would get ahead. So he get ahead 1-2, threw a couple of sliders off the plate, and then boom, pitch count continues to go up because he goes 3 balls and 2 strikes. And then it's not really a great moment, a great opportunity. What are you going to come back with your 3rd slider after having missed with 2? So he really limited himself.
Alex Rios steps into the batter's box. He's 11 for 42 so far this spring for the White Sox. Just underway. And a ball inside, 1 ball, no strikes. So the whole idea, as it's been explained, is for Billingsley, that front foot to come directly toward home plate so he can follow through instead of spread wide open. And that's the mechanical adjustment they've been working on with Billingsley this spring. And he fires a fastball to first, and Diaza, who's got good speed, back easily.
White Sox figuring that they're going to be able to put some runs on the board. And they are really delighted, even though it's a young staff, they're really delighted the way the bullpen has come around and shaping up going into the season.
The 1-0 to Rios. Inside. And Trainer picks it up and throws out Diaza.
But again, Billingsley falls behind in the count. A little unorthodox the way the trainer picked the ball up. It is not really what you would normally teach, but he had to reach out and grab it. Anytime a catcher is going to pitch it up with a catcher's mitt, you're kind of taking a chance, but a good transfer and a terrific throw by Trainer, who jumped all over that ball.
And so 2 out and nobody on. A 2-ball, no-strike count to Rios. It takes inside 3-0.
Now here we are again. We're talking about pitch counts early with Chad Billingsley against Rios, who's a good hitter. He can hit a fastball as well as anyone. So you allow him now to be in a fastball count, and he's in the driver's seat.
Here's a 3-0. Inside corner for a strike, 3-1. Paul Konerko is on deck. A picture-perfect 69 degrees, a spotless blue sky overhead. The 3-1, low and outside, ball 4.
And there was a Chad Billingsley losing his balance in that delivery. So already it's a topic of conversation, you figure, with Rick Honeycutt in the Dodger dugout. And Trainer, the catcher, is going to go out and talk to the right-hander. Yeah, this weather is a little bit better than 43 degrees in downtown Chicago about a half hour ago, last check.
Well, we had a game with the White Sox a week or 10 days ago where it was warmer there than it was here. But today it couldn't be any nicer. Konerko having a typical spring. Actually, you look at his numbers. He's hitting .326, 14 for 43. Konerko, really one of the great hitters in baseball. Konerko hit .300 last year, career .282 hitter. Four RBIs this spring and a strike. And it's 1-1.
You know, Konerko is one of those veteran players we talk about. He's not really worrying about the numbers in spring. He knows he has the club made. Be the designated hitter, although at first base here this afternoon. But he's really one of those guys, Charlie, unique study, because he has great discipline at home plate. He has the power to go with it. And everybody remembers in the back of their mind, doesn't seem that long ago in retrospect, he was once a member of the Dodgers.
Inside corner for a strike, 1-2. Went to Cincinnati in the deal that sent Jeff Shaw to Los Angeles.
And that deal was made while the Dodgers were up at Candlestick Park, and it was a very long walk, and we all knew something was underway because Konerko, along with the trainer, walked from the third base visiting dugout at Candlestick all the way down the right field line to the visiting clubhouse.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. Billingsley deals. Low and outside, 2-2. And Jeff Shaw, the first time he ever put on a Dodger uniform was at the National League All-Star game. Adam Dunn is on deck, just underway. And Billingsley gets a sign from Trainer. And Konerko can still hit, can he? Second hit given up by Billingsley here in the first.
Well, he just stayed with that ball very nicely. And here's the part that Paul Konerko adds to it. He gets on base, and it's not just, well, he's going to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and Rick Honeycutt looking along in that Dodger third base dugout. And one of the things they're looking at already is the pitch count with Billingsley, and then the location of the pitches.
Now Adam Dunn steps into the batter's box, and he couldn't have had a worse year last year. Hit 159, struck out 177 times, and had an on-base percentage of under 300. So he's looking to regroup, and he's had a solid spring this year. He has been struck out only 3 times in 40 plate appearances and has walked 11 times.
He's only counting 2 of those strikeouts, by the way. He says the other time he was rung up on a bad pitch by a rookie umpire. Didn't want to make an issue of it, but when you ask him about it, he says, no, officially only twice.
All right. Here's the 1-0. It's high, 2 balls and no strikes.
And as big as he is, you can argue with him.
Mm-hmm. He went to the University of Texas as a quarterback. He was a red shirt and then found his fame and fortune in baseball. Alexi Ramirez is on deck. Dodgers have the shift on for Dunn. Now the 2-0. Into left center field. Should be an easy play for Jerry Sands. And it is, and that's that in the first. No runs, 2 hits, a walk, and 2 left. After the first half of the first, we have no score. D. Gordon will lead it off for the Dodgers as we head to the home half of the first, and what a spring he has had. D is hit .415, 17 hits and 41 at-bats. He's also walked 5 times. And he has stolen 8 out of 9. Takes a strike, it's 0-1. It'll be Gordon and Hairston and Kemp. We'll get to the full lineup in a moment. From John Danks, who delivers outside. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Gordon's on-base percentage is .489 this spring. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2.
The other thing we've seen as far as D. Gordon has lightning quick speed and the reactions to go with it. He has bunted now to both sides of the field. We saw him here just 4 days ago bunt to third.
The 1-2 slashed foul off to the left and out of play.
And that's not an insignificant stat as far as using both sides, because he had been pulling the ball with him, dragging the ball as a bunt. But he dropped it down beautifully to third the other day.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And what was also so eye-opening, he was timed out of the batter's box bunting down the third base line at 3.79 seconds. Here's the 2-2, high and away, 3 balls, 2 strikes. And so that's essentially with a standing start. He'd get down to first base, dragging a bunt that much more quickly.
Yeah, because you're bunting the ball as a left-handed batter to third. You have to let the ball come a little bit deeper to you.
And he slashed one into left field and just foul, where that would have been a double.
Interesting. One of the things that we have talked about with this Dodger ball club is as they face here today a left-hander, that being John Danks. The story is, okay, D. Gordon's going to be in the leadoff spot. But Don Mattingly made a comment even before it came to spring training. What's going to happen in the middle of that lineup? Well, James Loney's not playing today at first base, but Andre Ethier has been moved down to the number 5 spot against left-handers. And Ethier and Loney struggled against the Portsiders last year.
Swung on and missed strike 3. Foul tipped it into the glove of catcher Tyler Flower.
That's only the 4th time that D. Gordon has struck out. So getting back to the Dodgers and what they're going to be doing, you see the lineup there, but moved it around. Ethier drops below Rivera against the lefty. And this is something, Charlie, that Don Mattingly has addressed it with Andre Ethier. He's talked also to James Loney in what's going to be the best lineup for him to have a chance to win a game.
Jerry Sands certainly has struggled this spring, and so he still has a little bit of time to prove that he can join the club when they open the season. in San Diego a week from Thursday. Jerry Hairston, a last-minute addition to the lineup today. Mark Ellis is under the weather. Hairston, 357 this spring, takes high and inside, 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, the story with Hairston has been the hitting has been right there. He has 5 errors. All 5 of them are throwing errors. He's also been nursing a shoulder that's been irritated.
Takes a strike, 2-1.
Jerry's not about to make excuses. He said, look, an error is an error. It doesn't matter if you're hurting or not. So he's had some anti-inflammatory medicine. He says he's feeling physically much, much better.
And a fly ball to right center field. Drifting on over and making the catch is Alex Rios for the second out of the bottom of the first. Brings up Matt Kemp. Kemp 14 out of 42 this spring with a couple of home runs, 9 runs batted in. Well, the only fly in the ointment in the spring training numbers for Kemp. He has struck out 15 times and walked but once. And these numbers, of course, will all be forgotten a week from Thursday when the season gets underway for real. Matt takes a strike. It's 0-1. Rivera's on deck. No score, 2 out, bottom of the first, and John Danks making his 4th start of the spring. Misses inside, it's 1-1.
What makes a lot of those numbers insignificant, besides the fact that hitters are maybe going 2 or 3 at-bats in a game?
And a ground ball to third. The sure fielding Brent Morrell throws across the diamond, and that's that. A solid inning for John Danks. Nothing across for the Dodgers as we head to the second inning. We have no score from Camelback Ranch in Glendale. About ready to get ready for the second inning of work. 19 pitches for Chad in the first. Only 8 of them for strikes. Got out of it not giving up a run, but it was not easy. As Alexi Ramirez begins the second inning and takes a strike. It's 0-1. Ramirez 11 for 40, 6 RBIs. All 11 hits have been singles. And there's another one. Clean single into center field as Ramirez leads off the second.
Young man can play right there. Plays on both sides of the ball. The other part, too, is you figure that for Ramirez, his batting average is going to be going up. I started to touch upon something about the numbers in spring training. And it's kind of interesting to see how teams are pitching against batters. In particular, in spring, you're going to find a lot of clubs within your same league, in particular your same division, that are not going to be pitching to the hitters, the good hitters. Take a Matt Kemp, for example. Won't be pitching them anywhere close in spring training to how they feel they can actually get them out during the regular season. They're going to tip their hands too soon.
Tyler Flowers, the catcher, takes a strike. It's 0-1. Flowers going to be the understudy for A.J. Przinsky. And He is 9 out of 31 so far this spring with 3 home runs and 6 runs batted in. Figure Billingsley's going to go about 80, 85 pitches today. And then there are 4 other veteran bullpenners scheduled to pitch. Into short right field, and is going to drop in front of Ethier for a base hit. And the White Sox now have runners at the corners with nobody out.
Not hit particularly hard, but very effective, and there's a lot of room out here to cover. Only 3 people in this outfield, and it's a very sizable field to begin with. 345 down the lines, 410 to straightaway center, and 380 in the power alleys.
Diane Visayedo steps into the batter's box. White Sox like him a lot, but he has really struggled this spring. 4 for 40. That's a 100 batting average, 3 singles and a double. Dodgers play the infield back, hoping for a double play. Uribe and Gordon on the left side of the infield, Jerry Hairston and Juan Rivera on the right.
Robert Ventura has talked to Viciedo a lot. He said, look, you're putting too much pressure on yourself. He says, I understand all the hype, I understand the buildup, but you're hitting about $1. And one of the things they want this young man to do is, look, exhibit more patience. Let the ball come to you.
Fouls it back, 1-1.
And you can see what the problem is. I mean, he commenced the hacking as soon as he comes to home plate. Ventura understands all about getting off to a very slow start. And he has shared a little bit of it because Ventura, when he started a great career, he was 4 hits in his first 44 at-bats before then going on and playing the 9 seasons, 20 home runs or more in his career.
1-1. Visayedo from Cuba takes a strike, and it's 1-2.
It's easy to tell a young player that does not have a lot of experience, oh, just relax on the outside looking in.
Gordon Beckham is on deck. First and third, nobody out. Top half of the second inning on back-to-back singles by Ramirez and Flowers. Visayedo, big swing and a miss, and he goes down. First strikeout for Billingsley.
Charlie, excuse me, that's where that patience comes in. I mean, Viciedo, the big swing that we saw, and it's then impatient. Swings at a pitch that's off the plate, but here's a young man also that was a regular on Cuba's series national team when he was just 15 years of age.
And now he's at the ripe old age of 23. Runners at the quarters with 1 out, and Gordon Beckham steps in. Beckham a home run and 4 runs batted in. Top of the second, no score, and Beckham takes a strike. 0-1.
Well, Beckham has a lot of parts to the puzzle that move, including a high right elbow in his stance and then a high leg kick. And the leg kick's all right, but you have to make sure you get your foot back down. He has been, well, he has been prone to swing and miss at more breaking balls than what it should be.
First round pick 4 years ago of the White Sox. He takes high, 1-1 out of Atlanta. Last year hit .230. And whenever there's trade talk involving Kenny Williams and the White Sox, Beckham's name inevitably comes up. And inevitably, the asker has been turned down.
No, he's a better hitter than to hit .230 at any time. Inside out swing predominantly.
And a terrific defensive second baseman. The 1-1. Inside corner fastball for a strike, 1-2. Top of the order, Alejandro Diaz on deck. Already 4 hits for the White Sox, 2 in the first, 2 in the second. Billingsley threw 19 pitches in the first inning, and his pitch count is rapidly ascending. Outfield straight away for Beckham, and here's the 1-2. Just gets a piece of it. Beckham stays alive.
Ascending is a nice way to say, boy, is he throwing a boatload of pitches so far.
It's been a major source of frustration for Billingsley and his pitching coach, Rick Honeycutt. Matt Trainer looks into the Dodger dugout for some signal. Now he flashes the signal to Billingsley, and the 1-2. Breaking ball whacked into left field for a base hit. Ramirez will score. Flowers will hold at second. White Sox draw first blood. It's 1-0 Chicago.
This is more than just 3 hits in the inning, because if we see a replay, look where Trainer is setting up to begin with. And Rick Honeycutt, Trainer's setting way outside. Where's the pitch? It's inside. I mean, when you look at where the setup is, you're ahead in the count, and you miss by 2 feet. I mean, this is an ongoing situation that Rick Honeycutt, it's more than just physical. It's now, well, are you going to buy into the program for Billingsley?
The left-handed hitting Alejandro Diaz fouls it off to the left. It's 0-1. So Diaz will be one of the starting outfielders this year for the White Sox, along with Alex Rios and Diane Viciedo. Of course, Juan Pierre is gone. No balls and 2 strikes.
Diaz in that crouch gives you a small target as a pitcher to begin with. He's another guy with an inside-out swing, and he sprays the ball around. Outfield's not too deep, and Matt Kemp in center field playing over to the opposite direction slightly.
And Carlos Quentin, of course, is gone, traded to San Diego, and Quentin will start the season on the disabled list, having had his knee scoped. Now the 0-2, just outside and high, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, Diaz at one time, coming out of the Dominican Republic, he was actually signed by the Dodgers organization 11 years ago.
Single to left in his first at-bat. White Sox with a 1-0 lead, 1 out here in the second. Billingsley deals and Diaz flies to center field, drifting toward left center, making the catch is Kemp, and there's the second out of the second. There is no wind to speak of, just a slight breeze really from right field toward left this afternoon. And Brent Morrell comes up. Morrell having a solid spring. He's 12 for 40. A couple of RBIs, a couple of doubles. And again, an outstanding defensive third baseman.
Out of Bakersfield, Southern California product. Went to Cal Poly.
First and second, 2 out. And a base hit into center field. Flowers will score. Throw is cut off by Rivera. Morrell with his 3rd RBI of the spring, and the White Sox take a 2-0 lead.
The only thing that's been consistent so far about Billingsley is the fact that he's been backing up the correct bases, and he has been backing up a lot. That's a little slider we talked about before. It's out over the plate. So location, location, location. It has not been there for Billingsley in this inning. It was not there in the first inning when less than 50% of the pitches he threw were strikes.
So far in an inning and 2/3, Billingsley has given up 6 hits and a walk. So 7 base runners. And he's retired just 5 batters. And now at long last the 6th as Rios bounces back to the box. 2 runs, 4 hits, 2 left. 2-0 Chicago. We go to the bottom half of the second.
Folks, are you a member of the Clipper Nation or always wanted to be a Jedi? Love the Bruins or Trojans? Well, you are in luck because the Dodgers may just have the perfect special ticket package just for you. Find out ticket packages that fit you best. Well, why not visit online, Dodgers.com/ticketpacks.
Juan Rivera, Andre Ethier, and Jerry Sands to bat for the Dodgers in the second inning against the lefty John Danks, who had a tale of two seasons last year. Danks delivers a strike, and it's 0-1. John would end the season at 8-12. And considering the start he had last year, that wasn't all so bad.
No, not at all, especially the frightening first 11 starts. He was 0-8. But then, Charlie, as you mentioned, the last 11 starts that he had, not only is he 6 out of 7 in the wins and the decisions, but his earned run average was barely above 2.
No balls and 2 strikes. Rivera backhanded at shortstop by, what a play by Alexi Ramirez.
Mentioned a moment ago, this young man can play. You talk about lightning quick hands. Not only does the ball come out of the glove, but watch how he finds the ball with the glove. Was it just by happenstance? Lightning quick hands, and Rivera hit it hard to begin with. But watch the re-grab into the glove, and still has enough arm.
Some play as Rivera scalded it and has nothing to show for his efforts. 1 out, nobody on. Andre Ethier is the batter.
Charlie, the other thing about Danks, the first part of the season, talking to some scouts, they did not have really high ratings on his curveball earlier on, and that's kind of against Danks, but he has a knee buckler when it's on.
Out of Austin, Texas, and there's a breaking ball. 2 balls, no strikes. Came to the White Sox on a winter's deal in 2006. Ethier, 3 balls and no strikes. Andre having a great spring. 13 for 31, 2 home runs, 10 runs batted in, and 7 doubles. Takes a strike. Sands on deck. White Sox with a 2-0 lead. Andre takes a strike.
You and I have talked about Andre Ethier even from the very first spring training game. He has shown that there's no lingering effects from a knee injury last year. Had a clean out towards the end of the season, which is a nice way of saying he had surgery on the knee, but that came out very well.
Fouls it back.
But it comes down to Don Mattingly and what he's talked about with both Ethier, a left-handed batter, and with James Loney, a left-handed batter against lefties. And 4 out of 5 years now, if you combine it all, Ethier's hit just .241 against lefties. And Loney hit right at .200 last year against them.
On 2-2, a leaping catch by Beckham.
But we have seen much better approaches, much better swings by Ethier against left-handers in particular. And you just get the feeling he's staying in much longer, letting the ball come into him. Last year he ran into a problem, and maybe because of the knee, committing much too soon.
Now Jerry Sands steps into the batter's box. It's been a struggle for Sands this spring. 5 hits and 34 at-bats, 1 RBI, 1 double, at a 147 average. As he bloops it into short right field, and a sliding catch by Rios. And that's that. 6 up, 6 down for Danks. We'll go to the 3rd inning with the White Sox leading the Dodgers 2-0. fans enjoying himself on this beautiful Monday afternoon here at Camelback Ranch, Glendale. Charlie Steiner, Rick Monday. And a week from tonight, the Dodgers and the Angels in the first of the three-game Freeway Series down in Anaheim. Then Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon at Dodger Stadium. A week from Thursday, the Dodgers and the Padres get going at Petco. Paul Konerko, no balls and a strike as we begin the third. And Billingsley, a fastball fouled off to the right, and it's 0-2. Well, we're telling you right at the beginning of the game, the pitch count always seems to be the issue for Billingsley. 19 pitches in the first inning, 20 more in the second. Now he's gotten ahead of Konerko. Can he put him away efficiently now? Dunn and Ramirez to follow. Billingsley the sign from Trainer. High and inside, 1-2.
That's a good pitch. Good pitch because he has been missing with location. And this time he took the advice of Trainer. Let's try him inside. Maybe get him off the plate a little bit. But now where does he go? 1-2.
Fastball away, 2-2. Up and in, down and away.
But here's where the big pitch is for Chad Billingsley, because he has gone 3-2 to way too many batters in his young career.
Billingsley on 2-2. Fouled off to the right, and Rivera will run out of room.
You know, here's a thought, and it's something I'm going to discuss it with Rick Honeycutt and the Powers. With Billingsley, he has difficulty, and we've seen it here in the game so far, inside and outside. As he's been missing, for example, one of the pitches by 2 feet. I am reminded of what the late Catfish Hunter, his theory on pitching and what he wanted his catcher to do.
Fastball whacked into right field for a base hit. Already the 7th hit of the game given up by Billingsley. Now remember, he was ahead 0-2 on Konerko, who's now 2 for 2.
0-2, he came inside, okay, fine. And that made it 1-2, and then threw a ball well off the plate outside. Well, here was Catfish Hunter, a Hall of Fame career, World Series with the A's and also with the New York Yankees, and a terrific competitor. And having been a teammate of his in Oakland, and Catfish's idea was, look, as a catcher, I want you to sit right smack dab in the middle of the plate. I don't want you to move left or right. I'm throwing to the shin guards, and I'm throwing to that slot off your left ear and your right ear, just above your shoulders. Don't move.
Adam Dunn takes high, 1 ball, no strikes.
And I think we've gotten to the point sometimes that the catchers are moving so much. And here's the other part that Catfish believed in, and talking with Steve Yeager the other day, former Dodger catcher, now coaching with him. He says, look, you don't want to confuse that guy behind you who's calling the balls and strikes. Be very quiet behind home plate physically.
The 1-0 is low and outside. 2 balls, no strikes to Adam Dunn.
So would it not make more sense if you have a guy that's having difficulty with location to sit right smack dab in the middle of the plate? Not you're going to throw it down the middle. The Catfish Hunter would work to the knees and the shin guards, and then above the left shoulder and above the right shoulder, that slot, which technically is inside or outside to a left-handed or right-handed hitter.
Dunn takes a strike, 2-1.
There's some catchers, excuse me, Charlie, that set up so early that the other club can really take advantage of it, because you would make the argument if the catcher's sitting inside, you're not going to come in softly. It's going to be something hard, either a fastball or hard slider.
Trainer sets up outside, and Billingsley throws to the glove, but it's low, 3-1.
And here's the count, 3-1. And you have a guy like Adam Dunn who can hit it 9 miles, first of all.
And Ethier in right field is playing as if Dunn can hit it 9 miles.
And D. Gordon, the shortstop, moved on the right side of the second base bag now with a count in favor of the hitter.
Second walk given up by Billingsley, first and second, and nobody out.
The shortstop, number 10, Alexis Ramirez.
Billingsley has faced 15 batters so far, and 9 of them have gotten on base, including Alexis Ramirez, who singled to center field in his first at-bat, takes a breaking ball for a strike. 0-1. Tyler Flowers is on deck. Konerko at second, Dunn at first. Neither runs well. But a bouncing base hit into left field. Konerko will be held at third. 10th runner on base already for the White Sox. They've got the bases loaded and nobody out. Ramirez is 2 for 2.
And Billingsley has had a thorough workout already.
"52 pitches have been thrown by Billingsley already, and there's nobody out here in the top of the third. The White Sox have the bases loaded, and Tyler Flowers, who singled to right and scored in his first at-bat, takes a strike. It's 0-1. So it's been an uphill struggle for Billingsley so far this afternoon. Diane Viciedo is on deck. 1 ball, 1 strike to Flowers.
Flowers can make some contact. Rather disciplined approach at home plate as well.
Grew up just outside Atlanta. And a strike, 1-2.
He's not had that many opportunities at the big league level. 137 at bats, and an average well is below that Mendoza line. Thus far, 197. But they figure that he's going to be able to figure it out. Has good back control. Chokes up an 1.5 inches, 2 inches on the bat now with 2 strikes.
Billingsley gets a big strikeout. His second of the game. That's the first out of the third.
That's an example of trying to teach young hitters, no, just relax. You know, you'll make contact, and that window is disappearing as far as the time and the opportunity to impress your manager, the general manager, and your coaching staff.
Diane Viciedo is the power hitting left fielder from Cuba, but he has really struggled this spring. Takes high, 1 ball, no strikes. He's now 4 for 41. Konerko, Dunn, and Ramirez at third, second, and first. Already 2 runs, 8 hits, and 2 walks surrendered by Billingsley. And he misses high and outside. He overthrew that one, 2-0.
You know, from a pitching standpoint, Billingsley will get 1 more tune-up. And then it's the regular season.
Into right field. Ethier can't get it. Drops in front of him. In to score is Konerko. Dunn will be held at third. Ramirez to second. Viciedo with his first RBI of the spring with his 5th base hit. The 9th of the afternoon for the White Sox, who now lead the Dodgers 3-0.
Well, that's a big hit for a young man, Viciedo. We talked about the fact he has struggled. He struck out his first time this afternoon. And for Robert Ventura, he was the one guy, Viciedo, to stay relaxed, show the patience. And they keep throwing it back out there. So a big hit for a young man out of Cuba.
So Dunn is at third, Ramirez at second, Viciedo is the runner at first. And Gordon Beckham, who singled to left and drove in a run in his first at-bat. And it's 0-1.
And that pitch count, Charlie, that was the 21st pitch thrown by Billingsley and the 61st he's made in this game.
And there's just 1 out here in the third. Top of the order, Diaza on deck. And it's high. 1-1.
Back comes Dad, Gordon Sr., a quarterback at University of South Carolina. And the younger Mr. Gordon, no slouch either. 25 touchdowns passing as a senior.
Ball strike, 1-2. His batting average has gone down each of the past 2 seasons as he begins his 4th big league year. One home run, 5 runs batted in so far this spring. Call, strike 3 on the outside corner. 3rd strikeout of the game for Billingsley. Now there's 2 out, and Diaza coming up.
Now can Billingsley repeat it? He got Beckham on a check swing. A lot of those moving parts we talked about with Beckham, you could see he got it way out in front of it.
Diaza, his single to left, was caught stealing and flied to center field. Takes inside and low, 1 ball, no strikes. Dodgers will also be sending out Ronald Belisario, Scott Elbert, Javi Guerra, and Jamie Wright today.
And the way this is going, maybe sooner than expected.
The 1-0. Ball and a strike. The Dodgers and the Padres tomorrow. There'll be no broadcast of that game. It was supposed to be Ted Lilly to start tomorrow, but Lilly continues to struggle with a stiff neck. And so tomorrow it'll just be a group of fellas out of the bullpens to pitch against a right-hander named Casey Kelly for San Diego. Diaza into center field, right at Matt Kemp, and that ends the inning. Another run and 3 base hits, 3 men left. 3-0 Chicago. "66 pitches have been thrown by Chad Billingsley, 40 for strikes through the first 3 innings. He's given up 3 runs and 9 hits. The White Sox have left 7 men on base. It has been a difficult journey so far for Billingsley. On the other hand, John Danks has retired the first 6 Dodger hitters in a row. Juan Uribe begins the bottom half of the 3rd with Matt Trainer and Billingsley to follow. The 2-0 to Uribe. Did he check his swing? No, says first base umpire Mike DeMuro. Scott Barry, the second base umpire. Jordan Baker, a rookie umpire at 3rd. And another rookie umpire, Ben May, is calling balls and strikes. Pop foul off to the right and out of play. So Uribe coming off an awful year last year, had surgery in the offseason, looking to turn it around in 2012. As he takes a big rip and fouls it back.
There's nothing subtle about Juan Uribe and the way that he swings the bat. And you have to do something to walk him. He's walked only twice so far this spring, 6 strikeouts, and it's rather remarkable that it's just 6 with the violence that he really swings the bat at just about everything.
Like that.
Just like that.
Second strikeout for Danks, who's retired the first 7 Dodger hitters in a row. And Matt Trainer coming up.
Robin Ventura was asked yesterday about John Danks, and the Chicago writers were trying to get him to actually commit that Danks would be their opening day starter. He would not make that statement, but he will be.
John Danks, 8-12 a year ago after beginning the season 0-8. Delivers inside 2 balls and no strikes.
Ventura said, and I quote, "He remains a strong favorite to be our opening day pitcher."
I had to wait 3 balls and no strikes. It's fascinating how Robin Ventura, who's never managed before, is going to manage the White Sox. Mike Matheny steps into the big shoes of Tony La Russa in St. Louis, who hadn't managed before either. Matheny. 3 balls and a strike. And you talk to the folks around the White Sox, you talk to the folks around St. Louis, and they all feel they're uniquely qualified. How about that play by Alexi Ramirez? Makes it look easy. There's 2 out.
Boy, he's fun to watch. The other part, too, is with Ventura coming in, and we talked earlier about Kenny Williams, a general manager who uttered the rebuilding word first time in his 12-year tenure with the Chicago White Sox. That was mentioned during the offseason, but their former manager has moved on. In fact, he moved on before the season was actually over last year.
Ozzie Guillen, foul back. Billingsley is a career 135 hitter, nothing in 1.
And you just sense that there's a wry smile on a few faces when they pick up comments that are being made in Florida by the former White Sox manager, the aforementioned Mr. Guillen.
Now the 0-1. Easy play for Beckham. Backhands it at second. And Danks has been letter perfect through 3. As we head to the 4th, the White Sox lead it 3-0. Fans join the Dodgers for what's sure to be an eventful 2012 season with the largest promotional schedule ever and the lowest ticket prices in years. Guarantee your tickets to opening day and Koufax and Scully bobblehead nights. Purchase season tickets or select mini plans today. For more information, visit Dodgers.com/tickets. The White Sox 2, 3, and 4 batters to hit here in the fourth, beginning with Brent Morel, who has singled in 2 at-bats. Every White Sox batter has gotten on base at least once so far this afternoon, and we're just venturing into the fourth. And a call strike to Morel, who singled to center in his last at-bat, flied to center in his first. Brent is now 13 for 41 this spring. Batting average of over 300. Alex Rios on deck, Paul Konerko to follow. The 0-2. Well, again, Mo, here's Billingsley getting ahead in the count. Let's see if he can finish off the hitter.
Well, this is the point that he has really not been able to put the lid on it.
On 0-2, high and inside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. The White Sox last year, 79 up, 83 down, finishing in 3rd place in the American League Central, 16 games behind the Tigers. And the Tigers, with the addition of Prince Fielder, figure to be a sure shot in the Central. Andre Ethier, 1 gone. The White Sox have finished under 500 in 3 of the last 5 years.
Yeah, they had that one stretch early last year. Lost 18 of 22 games, 13 losses in 18 games late in the year. After they'd really kind of come back into contention.
Rios takes a strike, 0-1.
Kenny Williams, the general manager, was kind of commenting. There was one scout that was quoted a couple of days ago. Says, well, the White Sox have come in last in their division. And he says, it's not a very good scout. And he said it kind of tongue-in-cheek, but also the White Sox, if you remember last year, they were expected to wind up, near the top or at the top in the Central Division.
The 1-1, Rios with a chopper to third foul.
And so Kenny kind of chuckled. He goes, yeah, same guys as last year were evaluating the club, and maybe this year as well. Again, their strength has been, one of the nice parts of spring training has been their young bullpen, particularly on the back end of the bullpen.
Well, of course, Mark Burley is gone. Carlos Quentin is gone. Pierre is gone. The 1-2 fouled off to the right and out of play. And Rios, coming off a dreadful year last year when he hit just .227 with a .265 on base percentage. One ball, 2 strikes to Alex Rios with 1 out in the 4th. Outfield straightaway, and the second baseman Hairston shaded toward the bag. Rivera well off the line at first. Billingsley on 1 and 2. Low and outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Talking about that bullpen, the back end, Kenny Williams again, when asked yesterday about the bullpen, he says, I love it. And that's with the possibility, folks, of 3 rookies. And those 3 may be at the tail end of their bullpen.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 gone. That should be an easy play for Billingsley, and it is. 2 out.
Well, Williams said it doesn't matter if they're rookies or not. He said we had a closer who was a rookie, 2005 World Series. But, boy, they are really high on Addison Reed and a left-hander name of Hector Santiago. So one of them may be actually in a closer's role at some point in time, even though combined they have just 51 days of Major League experience and started last year in A-ball.
And you throw in Matt Thornton, Jesse Crane, and you see what Kenny Williams is thinking. Paul Konerko is 2 for 2 with a run scored today, and Billingsley delivers a strike, and it's 0-1.
Thornton worked yesterday. It was, against the Giants.
Nothing in 2 to Konerko.
Well, this is a better inning of Chad Billingsley and what we have seen. Not just pitch location, but I think a lot of the pitches have had much better movement in this inning. Seen some wild swings.
And he's gotten ahead of the hitters.
It's a wonderful concept.
The 1-2. Inside and low.
Talk about movement. Boy, the bottom fell out of that one as it came inside.
Adam Dunn on deck. For the Dodgers, their 24th game of spring training. The 1-2 to shortstop. Backhanded by Gordon. Fires a strike across the diamond, and a 1-2-3 inning. Now 5 in a row have been retired by Chad Billingsley. We go to the bottom of the 4th. White Sox 3-0. D. Gordon leading off in the bottom of the 4th. The Dodgers still looking for their first base runner. The White Sox with a 3-0 lead. They've had 9 base hits. And Gordon just loops a liner into the glove of Alexi Ramirez. 10 in a row have been retired by John Danks. 1 out and nobody on here in the 4th.
Well, it's no secret that John Danks likes to work very rapidly. In fact, he said early in his career he had some defensive players that came up to him and said, look, if you're going to take a lot of time on the mound, you're not going to get the infield or outfield for that matter, make a lot of big plays. So Danks knows that he has an idea of what he's trying to do, likes to work rapidly, and here's another example. He's just waiting for the batter.
And Jerry Hairston, the 15-year veteran, knows that Danks likes to work rapidly, and so he takes his time getting into the batter's box and now takes his time stepping out. 1 ball, no strikes. Hairston fly to right field in his first at-bat. And a ground ball to short. And finally, the Dodgers have a base runner. A 1-out single for Hairston as we begin the bottom half of the 4th. Hairston getting the last-minute start today. Mark Ellis feeling under the weather. So Hairston called upon to take his spot at second base. Jerry is there at first, and here comes Matt Kemp.
Matt Kemp, a remarkable season last year. He did it in every particular phase you can imagine. Not just offense and defense, the way they ran the bases, the way that he approached the game. Defensively, it was like, I dare you to hit the ball into this area.
Matt has a couple of home runs this spring with 9 runs batted in.
It's always interesting to see how defensive alignments with Matt Kemp are stated. And for the White Sox, fairly well straight up. I've seen a lot of ball clubs that shade him the opposite way.
Big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike.
But Kemp with power, tremendous power. And it doesn't matter how you play defensively against him. His power is left center or right center.
to third at a 5-4-3 double play. And that's that for the Dodgers. No runs and one base hit. As we head to the fifth, the White Sox lead at 3-0. Adam Dunn to lead it off for the White Sox as we begin the top half of the fifth. A 3-0 White Sox lead. And the Dodgers put the big shift on. Only D. Gordon on the left side of the infield. The outfield is straight away, and Andre Ethier couldn't possibly be any deeper. For Adam Dunn, who's flied to left and walked. Every member of the White Sox has been on base at least once so far today as we begin the fifth.
A lot of second basemen would like to be positioned where Jerry Hairston is all the time with Adam Dunn, and that's in shallow right field.
Juan Uribe on the first base side of second base in short center. And Dunn takes a call, strike three. That's 6 in a row now retired by Billingsley.
Trainer's sitting outside, and this time Chad Billingsley right to the target. Something he has had difficulty doing on a consistent basis in the first 4 innings of this ballgame.
4 strikeouts, 2 walks, 3 runs and 9 hits on the Billingsley ledger. Fly ball down the left field line that's going to hook foul and out of play off the bat of Alexi Ramirez, who's 2 for 2 today, and a run scored.
Ramirez is a little deceiving. Deceiving from the standpoint, there's a shortstop that's 6'3". When you initially see him, because of a slight build, you don't think he's that big. He's listed at 175. It is a very strong put together 175, but 6'3", and again out of Cuba.
Now in his 5th season with the White Sox. Fastball low. Hit .269 last year. 15 home runs, 70 runs batted in. And a hard ground ball to shorten on the second hop. Gordon will throw out Ramirez, 2 out.
The catcher, number 17, Tyler Flowers.
So Billingsley much more efficient, and I think partly because he got tired of backing up bases in the first 3 innings.
Well, he's retired 7 straight now. Flowers has singled, scored a run, and has been struck out. Backhanded by Gordon. And a perfect inning for Billingsley. 8 in a row retired for Chad. We're at the halfway mark. after 4.5 innings of play. White Sox 3 and the Dodgers nothing. "44-year-old Robin Ventura, his first year as a manager at any level. He was one of the all-time great college baseball players. In 1987, he had a consecutive game hitting streak, 58, still the NCAA record, when he played at Oklahoma State, played in the College World Series. His College World Series batting average was a mere .459. And what a terrific career. He ended up, of course, with the Dodgers. And the ball outside and high. 1 ball, no strikes to Juan Rivera. Rivera and Ethier and Sands to bat. And Rivera takes high and away. 2 balls and no strikes.
Juan Rivera gives the Dodgers added dimension as far as what you can do. Play at first base today, can play left field, also play right field. He was really an important guy, as we saw last year, Charlie, because the Dodgers had so many injuries. They figured when they left this complex a year ago that they had a lot of depth.
The 2-1 lined into right field. That's going to be a fair ball, and it's going to kick off the sidewall. And Rivera wisely takes the big turn and returns to first.
But that depth last year became front line and right to the forefront in playing.
Of course, when he came over from Toronto, where he had been struggling, he was inserted into the middle of the lineup, and he provided an awful lot of protection for Matt Kemp.
And in particular against left-handed batters, and we mentioned before that Ethier struggled against lefties, and James Loney really had difficulty against southpaws.
And so Rivera re-upped with the Dodgers, certainly going to play most of the time in left field. But he'll have time to play some first base as well this year. Andre Ethier is lined to second base in his only plate appearance of the day. "11 of Ethier's 13 base hits this spring have gone for extra bases." And a strike, 0-2. Andre, 2 home runs, 10 runs batted in, 7 doubles, and 2 triples. His very first at-bat of the spring against the White Sox, he doubled into the right field corner. And so what you say, but coming off the knee surgery, he ripped the double into the corner, and B, he was able to sprint easily into second base. And he and everybody else saw that he was healthy again. The 1-2 fouled off to the left and out of play.
Well, that means a lot, too. If you're a manager and trying to find out exactly the condition of a repaired knee of one of your players, and you see him the first time, as you mentioned, he leaned into the corner going around first base and went sliding. A very aggressive slide into second base, got up, and everybody was looking, well, how's he going to feel? And he said it was nothing.
Outside and low, 2 balls, 2 strikes. A 3-0 White Sox lead. First 3 innings were really difficult for Billingsley. The last 2, he's turned it around. Now the 2-2 in the left center field, and it's going to roll to the wall. Rivera rounding third. He will score. Andre Ethier with his 8th double of the spring. His 11th run batted in. The Dodgers are on the board. It's the White Sox 3 and the Dodgers 1.
And Ethier doing what you need to do occasionally against the left-hander. Stay in there a little bit longer. Go the opposite way. Ethier has power to go anywhere to begin with. So the Dodger ball club finally gets on the board. You know what was neat about that play? And here we are in spring training, but if you watch the game, how it unfolds, not only the cutoff and the relays by the White Sox, but the umpires and how they moved in their different assignments, and a first base umpire coming to home plate umpire going to third. There is a little bit of a symphony that sometimes you lose if you're not really paying attention to what's happening on the field.
Jerry Sands flied to right in his first at-bat, and Jerry takes high and inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Well, spring training for the umpires as well, and each has a designated assignment on any given play. Sands with a ground ball to short. So the frustrating spring of 2012 continues for Jerry Sands.
And it continues really in his own hands. He's not thinking the game of baseball. I mean, you're a 2-run deficit. You're in the 5th inning. You're trying to impress the manager. Okay, my batting average is minuscule right now, but he failed to get the runner over from second to third, and he pulled the ball in at bat.
And the strength in his offensive arsenal is going the other way. Ramirez behind the bag, throws out Uribe. Ethier goes to third, 2 out.
And that's the confusing thing in not helping yourself in game awareness. And for younger players is trying to get into, well, what suits me best? Well, okay, fine. And you know there's frustration with Jerry Sands as well as any other younger player. Well, okay, fine. I felt good in batting practice today, so maybe he's thinking about, hey, look, I'm going to knock him in and I'm going to get myself on base with an extra base hit.
Let's assume that Sands had hit the ball to the right side of the infield. Uribe, had he just done what he just did, and here's a base hit into left field for Matt Trainer, knocking in a run. Trainer's 3rd run batted into the spring. It's 3-2. Point being that had Sands gotten the runner over to third, Uribe with the ground out would have produced a run.
Exactly, and that's what not only Don Mattingly, the manager of this Dodger ball club, but every manager is trying to get awareness of his ball club. Look, guys, we have to play at times small ball. If you have a 3-run deficit coming into an inning, middle of the ball game, you're adding a run here and a run there. And for Trainer, he has really had a very good spring in how he's impressed people.
Billingsley batting for himself, takes a strike, 0-1.
For Trainer, gives you that versatility as in a backup spot. Catcher.
A little roller up the third baseline, foul. Rod Barajas, who started most of the time last year, but was that veteran presence behind the plate. That's the role that Trainer will have this year, as A.J. Ellis will be in all likelihood, the opening day starter behind the plate for the Dodgers. And finally, A.J. at 31, lifelong dream to start on opening day. And A.J.'s had a very solid spring. Now the 0-2. Billingsley just gets a piece of it.
For those that may be just joining us, and if you've been with us over the last couple of innings, say, wait a minute. White Sox designated hitter. Billingsley's batting for himself. Yes, with an agreement with both clubs that happen to share this complex. So both managers can use their club, their lineup, their batting order, if you will, as they would be doing it during their regular season. American League, National League, DH and no DH.
The 0-2, Billingsley takes high and inside. You beat this cliche to death, but it's true in spring training. It's not how, whether you win or lose, but how you play the game. Remember when Walt Jocketty was in our booth last year in spring training? Game was dragging on, and here's the 1-2. Billingsley strikes out, and I asked Walt, would you rather have a win tonight or go to a nice restaurant?
Did you help him make the reservation?
Bon appetit. Before we head to the sixth inning, Clayton Kershaw, of course, won the National League Cy Young Award last year, and he'll be presented with the trophy before the game on April the 11th at Dodger Stadium when the Dodgers take on the Pirates at 7:10. Be there to share in the ceremony and receive your very own Clayton Kershaw Cy Young Award replica presented by StubHub. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Diane Viciedo leads it off for the White Sox as we head to the sixth. Billingsley, after a troublesome first 3 innings, has settled down over the last 2. He's retired 8 batters in a row. A ball and a strike. Viciedo drove in his first run of the spring in his last at-bat with a single to right. And here's another single to right for Viciedo as the leadoff hitter for the White Sox gets aboard here in the sixth.
So struggling to hit the ball, but Viciedo, after the strikeout the first time up, has now gone successfully twice. Back-to-back line drive singles to right field.
Gordon Beckham steps into the batter's box. He's got a hit in 2 at-bats. He also took a called third strike. So the string of 8 batters in a row retired by Billingsley comes to an end with the leadoff hit by Viciedo here in the sixth. Beckham with 13 hits this spring takes a strike. It's 0-1. Beckham now 25. First round pick in 2008 of the White Sox. Breaking ball, beauty. 0-2.
That is a pitch that Billingsley, because of the pitch count we've talked at various times earlier during the broadcast, not really had the opportunity to throw it a great deal. But, I mean, it's a devastating type of a curveball. But at times he gets in a spot, count is not in his favor, and then he tries to overthrow it.
Fastball inside. Brett Lillibridge is in the on-deck circle, and he will pinch hit for Alejandro Diaza. The White Sox 3 runs and 10 hits. The Dodgers 2 runs and 4 base hits. Into right center field. And it's going to drop in front of Kemp and Ethier. The White Sox now with first and third and nobody out. Second hit of the day for Gordon Beckham, who's 2 for 3.
Well, this is going to be the last inning for Billingsley. The question is, does he make it through the inning? There's with action in their bullpen down the left field line. And Rick Honeycutt, the pitching coach, talking with Don Mattingly, and probably go to the phone here in a moment.
Jamie Wright is warming in the Dodger bullpen. Wright would very much like to stay with the Dodgers. And if he does, he would probably serve in a role not dissimilar to the one that Jeff Weaver served for the Dodgers for a few years. Long reliever. First and third, and is outside and low. 1 ball, no strikes. Wright will find out his immediate future in the next day or two. But he's been very solid this spring. He's warming up in the bullpen now. Brett Lillibridge is the hitter with first and third. 2 balls and no strikes. Lillibridge 14 for 44 this spring. That's a .318 average. 5 RBIs and 7 doubles.
He's handled left-handers pretty well and has a tendency to get tied up with fastballs in on his hands.
The 2-0. Fouled off to the right, now to play. 2 balls and 1 strike. The way he leans back and waggles the bat, not say he hits like him, but his stance very much like Ryan Braun. Two and 1 to Brett Lillibridge. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Going back to Lillibridge, what was it that caught the scouts' attention? Well, in high school last year, he had .420, had 16 home runs. And then on top of it, here's the other part, the makeup. But he had a 3.7 GPA in high school.
Grew up in the Pacific Northwest, just outside Seattle.
Yeah, University of Washington, anthropology major.
The 2-2. Did he go around? No. Came over along with Tyler Flowers, today's catcher for the White Sox, from Atlanta, in the deal that sent Javier Vasquez to the Braves in the winter of 2008. On 3-2, there goes the runner. Pitches a call, strike 3, throw to second base, out at second base.
Second good throw we've seen by Trainer here today. First of all, early in the ball game, a pitch that got well away from him, a pitch in the dirt by Billingsley. Picked it up and threw out the runner at second. The footwork is something that Steve Yeager, we talked about Yeager the other day, about A.J. Ellis, who's going to get the bulk of the catching behind the plate. And Yeager says that Matt Trainer's footwork is one of the best examples for younger players to watch.
Well, Don Mattingly is going to come and get Chad Billingsley, who had a rugged beginning but a solid finish this afternoon. Jamie Wright is on his way in, and we'll come back after this. "37-year-old Jamie Wright, now on in relief. Began his career with the Rockies in '96 and has worked his way through Milwaukee, St. Louis, Kansas City, San Francisco, Texas, Cleveland, Seattle, and now trying to hook on with the Dodgers. Brent Morel is a hitter with 2 out and a runner at third. And Morel is 1 for 3. Wright's had a very solid spring. And he delivers a strike. It's 0-1. For Wright, this is his 7th appearance in 8 innings, 2 earned runs and 8 base hits. And he delivers a strike. It's 0-2.
Yeah, late movement at both times. He started the ball outside, has come back and got the corner both times.
Certainly a veteran presence. And now set at the belt, the 0-2. Breaking ball, strike 3. So Jamie Wright, who has been nothing but terrific in 8 appearances with the Dodgers this spring, strikes out Morel, and that ends the inning. White Sox make some changes as we go to the bottom half of the sixth. And former Dodger Eric Stoltz is now on the hill as John Danks went 5 innings, gave up 2 runs and 4 hits. It is Danks still there. Danks will pitch 1 more inning and then Stoltz will come in.
Oh, we talked about Dee Gordon the other day laying down a bunt towards the third base line, and this one put into no man's land. Or make that second baseman come in. If you can push it past the pitcher, second baseman, unless it's hit real hard, really has no chance at all. But electric speed by Dee Gordon.
Now let's see if Dee is off and running. He's stolen 8 bases in 9 tries. Kosuke Fukudome is now in left field. Eduardo Escobar, the new third baseman. Brent Lillibridge in center. And now Hairston takes a ball low. 1 ball, no strikes. Hairston has a hit and 2 at-bats. Filling in today for Mark Ellis. Ellis didn't feel well, so they sent him home. 1-1.
Harrison, we've seen him use in the hit and run spot before, and Mattingly have been testing his guys, but then you also wonder, even though a big lead over first by Gordon, Danks has an improved pickoff move.
Well, there goes Gordon. Improved move or not, Dee Gordon will go to third. Oh, man.
Speed. It just causes so many things to happen. It alters the defense. It forces players to rush what is normally done without a thought process. So good move or not, Dee Gordon goes in. The ball hit the bag. So a bunt single, and we saw this the other day. A bunt single winds up. 1 pitch later, 2 pitches later, all of a sudden there's a runner at third.
And Mark Ellis would ground out and knock in Dee Gordon. Now the White Sox bring the infield in at the corners. So Gordon now is 9 out of 10 in stolen bases. And Hairston with a fly ball to right field. And Gordon will tag. And here comes a throw to the plate, and he's safe. So even a good throw, and Gordon beat it easily. It ties the score at 3.
A bunt. And then beep.
Speedy Gordon. 9 out of 10 in stolen bases. When he gets on base, he changes only everything. Mark Ellis will likely follow Gordon in the lineup this year, so he's likely to see more fastballs.
That pitcher wanted to get the ball to his catcher promptly.
And the infield has to hurry their throws. And Kemp with a fly ball to right field. It's going to stay in the ballpark for Rios. 2 gone.
The first baseman, number 21, Juan Rivera.
Juan Rivera steps into the batter's box. He singled, scored a run. Ethier on deck. Dee Gordon's going to be one of those guys that Major League Baseball fans will just, when he comes up, they'll watch. Certainly when he gets on base, they'll watch even closer. He'll be must-see TV. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Tell you, must-see TV with Dee Gordon would be to watch his leaping ability. He could dunk, folks, when he was 11 years of age. He stood 5'7 and a half.
The 1-1. Broken bat. Leader to third. Eduardo Escobar throws out Rivera, and that ends the inning. Well, a bunt base hit, a stolen base, an error, and a sac fly. And we're tied at 3 as we head to the 7th. New pitcher for the Dodgers, the closer, Javi Guerra, making his 6th appearance of the spring. First appearance since Friday. 1 run and 3 hits in 4 2/3 innings so far this spring. He has struck out 3 and he has walked 4. So Jamie Wright comes in to face one batter with 2 out at the runner at third base. Strikes out Brent Morrell, and mission accomplished. Now it's up to Guerra as we begin the 7th inning. Alex Rios will lead it off, Paul Konerko, and then Adam Dunn. So the Dodgers, who trailed 3-0, have pulled all even. Rios 0 for 2 and a walk. And Guerra's first pitch is up and away, 1 ball and no strikes.
Different type of a spring training for Javi Guerra, who was sensational at the close of the season last year after getting a call up from the minors. But a year ago, he did not have one big word attached to him that he does now, and that's expectation.
And a strike, 1-1.
And how does a young player respond with the weight of the world, if you will, on your shoulders as you're a young closer? But Kenley Jansen and Javi Guerra, the back end of the Dodgers bullpen last year, simply sensational.
The 1-1 to Rios. Ball and 2 strikes. Well, a lot of responsibility on those right shoulders of Jansen and Guerra. Jansen averaged 16 strikeouts for 9 innings of work last year. And Guerra, this time a year ago, it was Javi who. Now the 1-2 outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. This time a year ago, you had Broxton and Kuo. Broxton's in Kansas City, and Hung-Chi Kuo is out of work. It was released last week by Seattle. Well, Guerra strikes out Rios to begin the 7th.
Not a bad way to start off the inning, and for Guerra, we saw a lot of different pitches. He really started to understand the breaking ball, and I think he's also one of those people that has a pretty good idea of both sides of the plate. Try to stay out of the middle of it, and you get a sense of just working to the corners of the plate.
The word seems to fit Javi Guerra, moxie. He's got it. He's not intimidated by very much. Paul Konerko, 2 out of 3 and a run scored today. Swing and a miss. Guerra pulls the string. It's 0-1.
Yeah, it took something off. We really think back also with Javi Guerra. Remember when he first signed, he was at the minor league level. There was a protest that said he took a crow hop off of the rubber as he delivered the ball. So he had to go back and revamp his delivery. We can see it really affected him.
Konerko takes a strike, 0-2.
But it was George Culver who was his pitching coach in Dodgers rookie level Gulf Coast League that really worked the crow hop off. A lot of people were wondering, well, when they change it to what is now acceptable in the delivery, would it decrease the velocity? Answer, no.
Looped into short right. In comes Ethier, drops in front of him. A 1-out single for Konerko, his 3rd hit of the day.
Konerko will get the advantage of leaving the game and having a pinch runner.
Dallas McPherson. Angel fans remember him. Pinch running now for Konerko. When McPherson first came up, they thought he was going to be the next big thing. That didn't quite work out that way for him, but he's pinch running now for Konerko. And here's Adam Dunn, who has struck out and walked and flied to left. And a strike. 1-1.
Dunn is so strong. I mentioned you were talking earlier, he struck out coming into today's game just 3 times. So he struck out looking today.
Coming off a year, 2011, struck out 177 times. He had about as bad a year as anybody could have.
Oh, there's no question. No question at all. And there are some that say, well, has he been too patient as a hitter?
To the right side. Bobbled by Rivera. Tossed to Guerra. Nice play.
Nice play. And for Juan Rivera, tried to throw the ball before he really had it. You can see him trying to got his feet into a fairly decent situation, but then still presence of mind to say, hey, look, we have a chance maybe at first base on a runner. But tried to scoop it, pops out of the glove, but presence of mind. And Javi Guerra, that little play that we see so many times daily in spring training. Make sure you get to the bag if you're the pitcher and do not run past the bag until the play is over.
So Guerra covering, and that saves the Dodgers. Alexi Ramirez is 2 for 3, steps into the batter's box. So Rivera didn't panic, and Guerra did his job covering the bag at first. With 2 out, Ramirez takes low, 1 ball, no strikes. Ramirez 13 for 43 this spring. Has 6 RBIs, hitting in the 280s. Tyler Flowers on deck. So Matt Trainer keeps the ball in front of him. It's 1-1.
Well, that's your job. Keep the ball in front so you did not have to go back to the backstop and retrieve the baseball. So just getting down like a hockey goalie. I know he'll get a high five and at least one big attaboy when he gets back to the Dodger third base dugout. Look down there a little bit earlier, and Steve Yeager, who is now helping in spring training, will also help out at the Dodgers are at home this season. Well, Yeager is here and watching his Warriors standing in foul territory.
Matt Trainer, not what you would call a headline producer, but he's just a really solid defensive catcher. Knows how to call a game, and that's why he was hired. Here's the 1-1 to the right side. Hairston has an easy play, and that's that. Good inning for Javi Guerra. No runs and a bloop base hit. 7th inning stretch, and we're tied at 3. Andre Ethier to lead off for the Dodgers as we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Dallas McPherson remains in the game at first base. New right fielder Jordan Danks. No relation to John Danks. And you're taking a look at Steve Yeager, who is proud of his troops today.
Going back in, he will look at some videotape and work with them even if the game is over. The work has not been completed fully here at Camelback Ranch, Glendale.
Ethier has a double and a run scored today. Underhanded toss. John Danks covering at first, receiving the easy throw from Dallas McPherson. First out of the 7th.
I just wonder how many people will ask Robert Ventura today after the game as they asked him yesterday. Well, is Danks going to be your starting pitcher opening day? Well, his answer, if you're joining us a little bit late, his answer yesterday was there's a strong possibility.
Now Jerry Sands. Ventura already learning the ropes of diplomacy as a manager. 1 ball, no strike. Sands 0 for 2. Now 5 for 36.
Diplomacy was not necessarily a commodity that was in abundance in the previous managerial office.
Call strike 1 and 2.
Ozzie has gone down to Miami, which, by the way, they have done a terrific job in the offseason promoting that organization. New stadium coming in.
Sands is 0 for 3. That's the 4th strikeout of the game for Danks. That's the 2nd out of the 7th. Well, they're going to be playing in a brand new ballpark. Capacity of 37,000. They've got a new uniform. They're no longer the Florida Marlins, but the Miami Marlins. And they have some mercurial personalities in that clubhouse. High and away, 1 ball, no strikes.
Boy, you're in the right racket. You have a way with words.
Man. Foul off to the right and out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike to Juan Uribe, who's 0 for 2.
I don't know if Juan Uribe has ever had what you would call an easy swing.
You mean like that one? 2 out.
I think of only one word when he swings: violent.
That's it. A 1-2-3 inning. Danks has been terrific today. We'll go to the 8th, and the White Sox and Dodgers tied at 3. Boatload of changes for the Dodgers. We'll tell you about it in a moment. But first, get suited up for spring training at the official online shop of the Dodgers with the largest selection of authentic spring training gear, including clubhouse caps and T-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, and more. Get set for spring at the official source, Dodgers.com/shop. New pitcher for the Dodgers is the lefty Scott Elbert, who will be making his 6th appearance of the spring. 3 earned runs, 6 hits in 5 innings of work, which translates into an ERA of 5.40. First batter he'll be facing is Tyler Flowers, and a fastball high, 1 ball, no strikes. Flowers is 1 for 3. New outfield for the Dodgers now. Corey Sullivan in left, Matt Engel in center, Trent Olchen is in right. Flowers takes low, 2 balls, no strikes. Josh Fields is replacing Juan Uribe at third. Jerry Sands moves from left field to first base, giving Juan Rivera the rest of the afternoon off. 2 balls and no strikes. Drilled foul.
And a nice play without a glove. Elbert, one of those young pitchers, we talked so many times about younger players and confidence. And he had the confidence wane about the middle of 2010 season. But to his credit, he has worked at it. He has recaptured it. Wouldn't it be nice? You look at scouting reports. Okay, this guy can hit the fastball as a hitter. This pitcher has this. He has that. What if you could look inside? We talked about Javi Gary. Looks calm, cool, and collective on the outside. Is there volcano going inside?
Just outside, 3-2.
For Elbert, he was not happy having been demoted after a 1-game appearance at the big league level with the Dodgers in 2010. And he did not report to AAA.
Flowers goes down on strikes.
But to get an idea of this, a young man is very talented, that being Scott Elbert. So the confidence has come back. Flowers a wild swing at a breaking ball low and inside. For Elbert, put things behind him and got refocused. And the Dodgers helped him along the way, but he also helped himself greatly.
Last year, in 47 appearances in Los Angeles, had an ERA of under 2.5. born in Joplin, Missouri, now lives out here in Arizona. And Joplin, of course, had a terrible disaster last year, and Scott was front and center and trying to raise funds, and his Dodger mates certainly helped along the way.
Well, they helped him also from a fundamental standpoint in the lower part of his body to begin with, to get more drive, more drop and drive, and now it gets the ball down. And it sounds like an easy thing, get the ball down, but mechanically he elevated a lot of stuff and got burned earlier on. Didn't get burned really bad. I mean, he has very good ability.
Kosuke Fukudomi, 2 balls and a strike. The former Cub is now 2-2. So again, Elbert approaches this spring training entirely differently than at any point in his career. He now is afforded the luxury of being able to work on things. Missing outside 3-2 and not having to sing for his supper and hope that he makes a spot on the roster.
Younger players are handed the ball, and it's not said, but you know it's being thought. Here's the ball, impress us.
Now the 3-2. Beautiful pitch. So Elbert strikes out the first 2 batters he faces. Fukudomi takes a seat.
Yeah, Fukudomi is saying that was rather impressive with a breaking ball.
Now Gordon Beckham steps into the batter's box, and he's 2 out of 3.
What's remarkable also, and it applies to Elbert and so many other pitchers, what is it that the baseball people see in a pitcher where you finally make the determination, as they did with this young left-hander, he is best suited for the bullpen instead of the starting rotation where they had him to begin with?
No balls and a strike. Josh Lindblom went back and forth as a starter and a reliever and a starter and a reliever, and then finally the Dodgers determined, and I think much to the relief of Lindblom, now he has a role out of the bullpen, and he had a solid season with the Dodgers last year too.
Well, a lot of pitchers go kicking and screaming from that starting rotation to the bullpen, and I think back over a lot of years, and it's worked out pretty well with some. Raleigh Fingers comes immediately to mind. I mean, he went kicking and screaming very loudly.
How about Eckersley?
The same thing.
In those days, it wasn't quite so juicy to pitch out of the bullpen. 2-2 to Beckham with 2 out. In the top of the 8th, we're tied at 3.
No, normally it was a demotion out of the starting rotation where you said, oh, you go to the bullpen and work it out.
3 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah. That term, work it out, it means either you come around in a hurry or you're in AAA.
Again, in the old days of the 4-man rotation, the bullpen was considered the leftovers. Here's a 3-2. Well, Elbert strikes out the side. Flowers, Fukudomi, and Beckham all go down on strikes. Go to the bottom of the 8th. White Sox and Dodgers, 3-3. Well, somebody's having a lot of fun at the ballpark today. White Sox and Dodgers going in circles, tied at 3. We go to the bottom of the 8th. New battery for the White Sox. Pitcher is Nate Jones, and this time a year ago, the catcher for the White Sox. At the moment, Hector Jimenez was trying to make his bones with the Dodgers. He would have health issues, and that would be that. And so there's the new White Sox battery as we head to the 8th inning. Josh Bard will pinch hit for Matt Trainer. And then Trent Olchen to bat. So a nice job turned in by Scott Elbert, striking out the side in the 8th inning. 3 runs, 12 hits, 1 error for the White Sox. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. For Jones, this is his 7th appearance of the spring. And he delivers under the knees, 1 ball, no strikes. He's given up 2 earned runs and 7 hits in 8 1/3 innings. Nate Jones. As Bard fouls it back. Jones out of Covington, Kentucky. Across the river from Cincinnati. 6'5", 185 pounds. 5th round pick of the White Sox in 2007. And Bard with a fly ball into short center field off the end of the bat. Lillibridge is there. Bard is retired. First out of the bottom of the 8th.
Hitters are always trying to pick up, well, where's the release point of the pitcher? And for Jones, once he breaks his hands, his right arm goes directly back. It's not around the body or anything else. It's like an Iron Mike pitching machine that goes back, but he's very short as far as the arm movement, getting right to the plate.
Now Trent Olchen. Not quite as pronounced as Josh Colmenter from Arizona.
Yeah, Colmenter throws over the top like an Iron Mike pitching machine.
He throws it like he was a Statue of Liberty, Colmenter. Here's the 0-1. Inside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Olchen. Trent's had a good spring. 9 for 31. That's a 290 average. Had a busy winter. He got married and moved to San Diego. It's a big move. He grew up in Sydney, Australia. D. Gordon is on deck. Dodgers trailed 3-0 after 3, but then scored 2 in the 5th and 1 in the 6th. So we're all even. Fastball high. 3-1 to Olchen.
And when Jones throws a fastball, it is fast. He's been clocked at 100 miles an hour. This was a few years ago. As you mentioned, 6'5", he gets full leverage. And a breaking ball, when he's not trying to rush it, it's a good one, right over the top.
Dodgers and the Padres tomorrow. No broadcast of that game. Gordon Beckham throws out Olchen, 2 out. Ted Lilly was supposed to go tomorrow, but he's sidelined with a stiff neck. And so tomorrow the bullpen will get a lot of work against Casey Kelly and the Padres. Wednesday, no broadcast of that game. The Giants will be hosting the Dodgers over in Scottsdale. Nate Eovaldi goes against Yusmeiro Petit. Next television game on Thursday against the White Sox right back here at Camelback Ranch. Now D. Gordon, 1 for 3 and a run scored and a stolen base. Then he takes a ball inside and low, 1 ball, no strikes. Eduardo Escobar, the new 3rd baseman for the White Sox, comes sprinting in, and he's already inside the cutout at 3rd. Now the 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sounded like a broken bat.
Well, D. Gordon goes and gets some fresh lumber. Interesting you bring up Ted Lilly, because Don Mattingly was quoted this morning when asked about Lilly. Mattingly said, look, right now we're not going to move anyone around as far as that starting rotation. But Mattingly also said, and this was what was interesting, he says, we'll make the decision around March 30th on his regular season spot. Now, if Lilly's going to be bypassed, what does that do to the rest of the starting rotation? So they have a few days to see how Ted Lilly's going to come back.
The 30th is Friday. The ball inside, 2-1. Ted was going to do some light tossing today. No bullpen or anything like that. He had a bit of a neck issue last year as well. Now the 2-1. 3 balls and a strike to D. Gordon.
It also becomes an issue, not just how his neck is, but if you're not able to go out and you might miss 2 starts, even though in spring training, what does that do to your command, your arm strength, and does it push you back too far?
Gordon walks. And so even when D. Gordon walks, it generates a buzz inside the ballpark.
Well, even though it's spring training, 3-3 tie, bottom of the 8th inning. And D. Gordon, who stole his 9th in the 6th inning, one would not be particularly surprised should he take off somewhere in this at bat.
And that whole question of risk and reward, the way Gordon runs, there's very little risk anymore.
Well, he has a big lead, and he was easily back on that pickoff attempt by Jones.
And D's front foot is about even with the edge of the cutout at first base. Good size lead. Not going. Outside and low. 1 ball, no strikes. Again, we were talking about it earlier. When Gordon gets on base, whoever the hitter is behind him, in this case this afternoon is Hairston. During the season is likely to be Mark Ellis. They're simply going to see more fastballs.
Although it was a slider the first pitch, but Gordon saw him just digging his feet in a little bit more there.
Here he goes. Double clutch, no chance.
You know, and the scouts that are here, and I just made the mention because we got a great shot of D. Gordon, and he was kind of getting the left foot in the dirt, a more solid foundation. So he takes off. He steals it easily. But with the scouts that are here in town and watching this game, is that something that they're going to be looking at for Gordon? When he goes, does he dig his feet into the dirt a little bit more?
In poker parlance, is there a tell? Some kind of a clue. And now there he is dancing off second base, and Jones
Well, even if there is a clue, you still have to negate the jump that he gets. And you can only throw over to the first base bag so many times. I mean, about the 500th time, it's a little overdone. But it is, in fact, going to help the hitter.
And now the second baseman, Beckham, is shaded toward the bag, and that gives Jerry Hairston much more room to hit over to the right side.
Well, Jones is thinking, okay, the runner's at second base, but if the guy at home plate hits it, that runner's going to score anyway.
And Hairston tries to go the other way.
A stolen base is not going to get the go-ahead run across. But the batter, if you make a bad pitch, will take the advantage. So there's all kinds of secondary thought process that is entered into the game as a result of the potential speed at second and D. Gordon.
As Beckham dances towards second, he has to sprint back to his conventional spot just as Jones is releasing the pitch. And it's high. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out. So there's Beckham leaning towards second base. And as Jones releases the pitch, he has to sprint back toward his left and close up that hole that's created.
And he cannot close it up fast enough.
And there he goes. And after all is said and done, Hairston strikes out, and that's that. No runs, no hits, a walk, a stolen base, a man left. We go to the ninth, tied at 3. For the Dodgers as we go to the ninth inning, Ronald Belisario. Now on in relief, Belisario becoming the 4th Dodger pitcher of the day. Belisario's 5th appearance of the spring. He's given up 3 earned runs and 5 hits in 4 innings of work. That translates into a .675 ERA. Justin Sellers is the new shortstop. And Luis Cruz is the new second baseman, and Brent Lillibridge will lead it off for the White Sox here in the ninth inning. Tied at 3. Scott Elbert, letter perfect in the 8th inning, striking out the side. Lillibridge takes a strike, 0-1. Belisario, of course, will begin the season on the 25-game suspended list. And he delivers a fastball inside, 1-1. Eduardo Escobar is on deck. Easy hop to Josh Fields at third base. Throws across to Sands, and that's the first out of the ninth.
Third baseman, number 38, Eduardo Escobar.
So none of the players except Jerry Sands, who are out on the field now, started the game. Corey Sullivan, Matt Engel, Trent Olchen from left to right in the outfield. Josh Fields at third, Justin Sellers at short, Luis Cruz at second. Sands, who began the game in left, is at first base. Josh Bard, the new catcher for the Dodgers, as Belisario delivers a strike to Escobar, and it's 0-1. High and outside, 1-1.
Belisario is a power type of a right-handed pitcher. You saw the good tailing movement that he gets on the ball. Boy, that is a big pitch when you can get secondary movement along with that velocity.
2 balls and a strike.
Escobar, Buddy Bell, former All-Star in his playing days, and now the director of player development of the White Sox. Talk about Escobar, high energy. Young man who was really not even on the radar 3 years ago.
Belisario, easy play. Fires a A four-seamer at Sands.
Oh, my. Jerry Sands will just attest to the movement that and velocity, for that matter. Because Sands, well, Jerry's thankful that he got the glove up in time and was stopping it, because watch how he flinches when he catches his ball.
Ooh. 2 out, nobody on.
Thank goodness for gloves that work.
Now Jordan Danks, his first at-bat of the day. And a base hit into center field. So a 2-out single into center for Jordan Danks.
First baseman, number 45, Dallas McPherson.
Now Dallas McPherson steps into the batter's box. His first at-bat of the day, replacing Paul Konerko. Konerko went 3 for 4. Tied at 3, although the White Sox out-hit the Dodgers 13-5 to this point. 11 of the hits came off Billingsley.
McPherson was the second-round pick by the Angels back in 2001 out of the Citadel. But as you were saying earlier, boy, they had high hopes for this young man within their organization.
Runner goes. Bard's throw out at second base. Dodger catchers have thrown out all 3 White Sox would-be base stealers today. Dodgers with a chance to win in the bottom of the 9th. Tied at 3. One-time Dodger Eric Stoltz now on in relief as the young folks are still enjoying this gorgeous afternoon. I'm going to try to do that headstand one more time. Well, I'll push up instead. Josh Fields to lead it off for the Dodgers, and Josh was barely on the radar screen at the beginning of spring training. And now he's trying to make it onto the 25-man roster, and he's been very solid. And there's Eric Stoltz, who had a couple of good years with the Dodgers. It was about 4 or 5 years ago when Stoltz and Quo came into New York. Big series, and Quo and Stoltz won those games. I think Greg Maddux may have been the pitcher in the middle of that 3-game series, and Maddux lost. And Stoltz would end up in Japan for a time. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike to Fields. Fields is a terrific college quarterback at Oklahoma State. Fields, Olchen on deck. No, correction, Sullivan on deck. Big rip, 1 and 2.
Yeah, Fields, you see the hands. He's got a lot of movement in there, kind of pronates the hands, and his timing has to be perfect. And when it is perfect, we see him hit a lot of balls hard, but that little extra movement, and every hitter has something that kind of triggers the swing and gets it going.
Just outside, 2 and 2.
But when you're moving the hands like that and they're out away from your body, you have to be strong first of all in order to make that movement and still get the barrel of the bat right into the hitting zone.
The 2-2. Low and outside, 3 and 2.
That day you're talking about at Shea Stadium, he held the Mets, he being Stoltz, to 1 run, 2 hits over 6 innings. After getting called up from Las Vegas, the 51s.
And suddenly he's pitching in front of 50,000. Fields a leadoff walk in the 9th. And Poe, in those days, was relatively unknown. Now we're going to have a pinch runner. Elian Herrera is pinch running for the Dodgers here in the 9th.
Well, this is a speed move.
And Corey Sullivan has had a nice spring. Takes under the knees, 1 ball, no strike. He was in the Phillies organization last year, but the Dodgers have seen him quite a bit over the course of his career playing in Colorado. Sullivan is 10 for 32, a .313 average this spring with a home run and 7 runs batted in. Elian Herrera, the lead off first. And Stoltz always had a good move when with the Dodgers. Hector Jimenez, who was with the Dodgers last spring, is the catcher now for the White Sox. Gordon stole a base on Jimenez in the 8th inning. To the right side, McPherson has 1 play, keeps the ball in the infield. Robs Sullivan of a hit, and Herrera goes to second base.
Yeah, nice play over at first base, and it took very quick reactions in order to stop that ball from getting into right field.
If it gets to right, it's first and third and nobody out. Instead, it's a runner at second with 1 out. And Matt Engel, the Dodgers picked up on waivers off the roster of the Orioles in late February. Very fast runner. Well, now it's up to him with a bat in his hand. Herrera, the runner at second base, is built a lot like D. Gordon. Sleight of frame, runs well. Angle takes low and outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Jerry Sands on deck. Breaking ball for a strike, and it's 1-1. Dodgers looking for their 12th win of the spring. This is their 25th game. They're 11-8-4 to this point. Angle nearly hit by a pitch. It's 2-1. Tied at 3, although the White Sox have out-hit the Dodgers 13-5. Angle takes high and away. It's 3-1.
Here's where you can let it go because there's normally not anything that's going to be that tricky. But keep in mind, too, is as far as Stoltz is concerned, pretty good off-speed pitch. Breaking ball as he come here thinking, well, Angle's going to let it go 3-1. Counts in his favor.
Instead, it's ball 4. And Jerry Sands, who's had a tough day of it at the plate, 0 for 3, is flied to right, bounced to short, and struck out swinging.
He's had a tough day at the plate. He's had a tough spring in Arizona. Failed to get the runner from second over to third with nobody out earlier in the ball game.
And 5 for 37 in spring training. Coming into spring, the thought was that Sands was pretty darn close to making that 25-man roster, but it's been a long spring for Sands. And Josh Fields has impressed. Justin Sellers is on deck, and he's trying to get that last roster spot, perhaps. Here's the 0-1. Sands takes low, 1-1.
But Charlie, this is a spot that Jerry Sands really stood tall last year. That was primarily against left-handers, where he hit .352. And again, coming into spring training, part of the mix was a big question mark for Don Mattingly, how he would position his lineup, the batting order, if you will, and maybe even positions against left-handed pitching. And we saw today Andre Ethier against John Danks, the lefty started. Ethier was in the 5 spot instead of what we normally see him in the cleanup position.
A ball, a strike, in and out. The winning run at second in the bottom of the 9th. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Well, the outfield is not exceptionally deep, maybe with the exception of Lillibridge in center field, but Herrera taking a very conservative lead at second base and a conservative secondary lead.
1 out, bottom of the 9th, tied at 3. Stoltz, third pitcher of the day for the White Sox. And it's drilled foul off to the right and out of play.
I get the feeling that Jerry Sands is not really picking the ball up out of the pitcher's hand. It's just been one of those kind of spring trainings because the ball appears to be on him. A lot of extra movement, a longer swing, because when we saw him at his best last year, he showed very good power to right center field.
And he drills a base hit into left field. Herrera's rounding third, and he will score. As the ball is bobbled by Fukudome, the Dodgers win it 4-3 as Jerry Sands delivers a single to left.
It's been frustrating for Jerry Sands, and he delivers and brings this one, the curtain down, with a victory. So it turns into a good afternoon. And from a pitching standpoint today, with the exception of Chad Billingsley starting for the Dodgers, we saw some excellent pitching during this ball game. Billingsley finally got the wheels back on track.
Billingsley struggled through the first 3 innings, was solid in the 4th and the 5th, and on into the 6th. Then Jamie Wright and Scott Elbert, Javi Guerra, Ronald Belisario all turned in an outstanding pitching performance. The Dodgers come from behind, win with a run in the bottom of the 9th, and beat the White Sox 4-3. For the White Sox, 4 runs, 6 hits, no errors. And for the White Sox, 3 runs, 13 hits, and 1 error. So that's a wrap for us Dodgers win 4-3. Be with us on Thursday when the Dodgers host the White Sox again here at Camelback Ranch. Charlie Sonner, Rick Monday saying goodbye from Camelback Ranch.